There's one New Zealand politician that our lame Aussie pollies could learn a thing or two from when it comes to standing up for what you actually believe in and truly leading rather than just lamely following. David Seymour, once a lone voice in Parliament, is now New Zealand's Deputy Prime Minister. He is the leader of ACT New Zealand, a libertarian-leaning party that champions such radical and nutty ideas as free markets, individual responsibility, and smaller government. Oh my God, could you imagine the Australian Liberal Party actually standing up for those crazy things? I mean, that'd make them a Liberal Party that stood up for political ideas and values that are actually classical liberal. In New Zealand, they have an unusual parliamentary system where around 50 seats in Parliament are what they call list seats. They're not connected to the 72 geographic electorates, but they're allocated to parties after the election based on the proportion of the total vote that party got. So they have much less of a uni-party lib-lab situation like we have in Australia. Minor parties in New Zealand actually get a voice, and the New Zealand ACT Party now has 11 seats. That's about 10% of the House. In the last election in November 2023 that turfed out Labor following Jacinda Ardern's departure, the major Conservative party in New Zealand, the Nationals, won the election. But to form a government, they had to join in coalition with minor parties, including the Libertarian ACT Party and Winston Peters' New Zealand First Party. Under the deal, the National Party leader, Christopher Luxon, became the Prime Minister. And it was agreed that Winston Peters would be the Deputy Prime Minister for the first half of his term, of the political term until May this year, and that ACT's David Seymour would become the Deputy Prime Minister after May for the second half of the term. Now, Seymour pulls no punches, and he's got zero tolerance for any kind of divisive neo-Marxist style identity politics, as a reporter learned quick smart after the national budget was handed down a few weeks back. This reporter asks him to respond to the Labor Party's complaint that $1 billion worth of Maori funding had been cut from the budget. And check out David Seymour's response.
Mr Seymour, what's your response to the Labor Party saying that $1 billion of Māori funding has gone from this budget?
Well, there's no such thing as Māori funding. There's funding for New Zealanders. I'm really getting tired of people trying to racially profile us, put us into categories based on our ancestral whakapapa, and then try and tag the budget funding for that. It's just got to stop.
Why?
Because it's racist.
Wow, it's just racist. Exactly. It's the definition of racism, to divide your country by its citizens' ancestral heritage. And it's the road to collapse for any nation. Once you start handing out privileges and funding to special groups based on their race, you will have huge problems of division. And that division will continue to be fueled and promoted by those that gain from it. David Seymour is having none of it.
So are you against funding specifically for Māori?
I'm against any kind of race-based targeting of funding. I'm opposed to people who want to put all their emphasis on the 0.1% of human DNA that's different from each other and ignore the 99.99% that unites us.
So Pacifica funding as well, you would be against?
Well, I think you can work that out, yeah. Well, thank you very much for your questions, including the racist ones, and we'll see you later.
Thanks very much for your questions, including the racist ones. Love it. Well done, David Seymour. You'll hear rich inner-city Liberals and Labor and Green voters in Australia now saying, oh, but the poor Indigenous people. But why? Why are they poor? Don't they share the same country we do? The same world-leading levels of opportunity? The same great legal and economic infrastructure and business opportunities that a modern civilization brings as all of us share? Don't almost all of us have ancestors in distant history who faced horrible injustices and who had to rise up and overcome adversity? Only the rich left-leaning elites are so patronising and condescending that they think Indigenous people need help from them. Poverty and social problems in remote communities today actually exist across races and have more to do with the tyranny of distance and systemic psychosocial issues than colonisation. Indigenous peoples in Australia and New Zealand are among the freest people with the most opportunity in the world. Why? Because of European colonisation mainly. And it's time non-Indigenous Australians stopped apologising. Many of us aren't of Anglo-British origin anyway, me included. You don't hear us complaining about the Anglo-British systems or values on which this nation was built. This week, the ACT Party in New Zealand held its annual rally in Auckland. In his main speech, David Seymour reflected on the horrors of woke culture and the enormous damage done by Jacinda Ardern and her Labor Party for 6 years.
Those 6 years of long trouble has left us fatigued. Many people have been left angry and more open to blaming someone than usual. And the scourge of identity politics has left us even more primed than usual to point the finger at someone else. That postmodern disease has set New Zealanders against each other. The idea that our differences are greater than our similarities is a toxic belief. It makes it harder to solve real practical problems when you're busy finding reasons to resent a fellow New Zealander who's actually pretty much just like you. It's tangata whenua against tangata tiriti. It's boomer versus zoomer. It's wealthy against poor. It's urban against farmer. It's employer against employee. Tenant against landlord.
Yep, it's the politics of division, the old Marxist game of fostering hate and a false sense of oppression to seize power and control, all done in the name of fake kindness and the kind of fairness that actually destroys liberty, individual reward for effort, and ultimately the wealth of the nation, leaving everyone equally poorer and equally suffering.
And identity politics has a close cousin I call zero-sum thinking. Zero-sum thinking is perhaps the most dangerous frame of thinking that's affected Western society in these past 2 decades. It fits like a glove with identity politics because it's the idea that for you to do better, someone else must do worse. Now, this has happened because it's a deeply human response to divide the world into heroes and villains, people who do good and people who do bad. It's true that sometimes that does happen. But the reality is that most people, most of the time, are actually trying to make things work. And what's more, the success of one group, perhaps someone who's made 500 hammers, often benefits another. Peter Beck's genius has made him very rich, and good on him. But it's also ignited and given liftoff to a New Zealand space industry. When we lose the insight of positive sum thinking, we believe in zero-sum and we become more divided, poorer, worse off politically, worse off culturally, and worse off economically. The reality is, there's only 5 million of us here. We all have far more in common than what separates us, and our success in New Zealand is interdependent. The problems that we all face are shared, and the solutions will only be visible if first we see that basic fact.
Yeah, but if a Kiwi can come here and live in Australia and work here freely, why can't their Deputy Prime Minister become our Prime Minister? Can't we just get him over here? I mean, there's 27 million of us. We really need him. He'd do much more good here, and maybe he could still be Deputy Prime Minister over there. Oh, sorry. I was just on the phone to the Immigration Department doing a little bit of research. Where were we? Oh, yes, David Seymour. Could you imagine Susan Lee being able to sell an idea or speak like that? It simply would never happen. So far, all she's shown us is that she's a follower, not a leader. She wouldn't know how to stand up to the dominant left-wing cultural elites in our Labor Green government or our appalling leftist media if her life depended on it. And the modern Liberal Party is a party of wannabe, bureaucrat-minded, big government-loving followers. Not a true leader in sight, except Alex Antic maybe. The Liberals need to find about 50 to 100 David Seymours and let them run the show if they ever want to be in government again. If you like The Other Side, one of the best ways you can support us is by signing up for the products of our sponsors. And one of our best sponsors is PIA VPN, the virtual private network that stops people spying on your internet activity. It'll keep you and your family truly safe from the prying eyes of big governments and corporations without slowing down your internet speeds. And you can watch Netflix or other streaming services using your regular accounts with them as if you're viewing from any country in the world. You can sign up for less than $3 $10 a month and get a whopping 83% off the normal price. Just go to piavpn.com/otherside to sign up and you'll get the discount. And you'll get more info on those special deals if you check it out. That's piavpn.com/otherside. That was a segment clip from our weekly Friday night news show, The Other Side, which you can watch in full by simply going to YouTube and searching up The Other Side Australia. Then you'll find our full shows playlist. You can also find all of our full shows and our segments on our own website, othersidetv.com.au. That's othersidetv.com.au. Help us build a whole new Aussie media by joining us over there and signing up for the exclusive side.